The next name is Al-Mu'min, which is the inspirer of Eman, which is, I'm actually just joking. I love when I hear my name in them because I'm like, that's me. But no, so it's the inspirer of faith, right? And what this really comes down to is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created jinn and humans, and he put us on this earth for one reason. You are here to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If anyone asks us as Muslims, like, what's the point? Like, why are you here? What's your purpose? Is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And through our worship, it's how we get close to him, right? It's how we attain this level of peace that we were just talking about. So you've got two different types of belief. You've got verbal belief, where I say I'm a believer, but I don't back that up with any of my actions. So I say I believe in Islam, I believe in Allah, but I don't do any of my fard. I don't do any of my obligations, right? I completely disregard. And then there's applied belief, right? Where I'm actually putting in the work and I'm actually following the religion the way I'm supposed to. And the understanding is that once you've truly believed and submitted to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you recognize that he is the one true God. You recognize that the Quran is his speech, that it is the truth. And so when I accept that this is the full truth, then I have to accept everything that comes with it. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks me to do something, I accept it, no arguments. Now, of course, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us. So he knows that to an extent, we need some explanation. We don't sit well with just it is how it is, right? So there is parts of the faith that are founded in logic and rationale and science. And then there are other parts of the faith that require a little bit more of blind faith. So in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala expresses a lot of, ayat or signs talking about nature, about certain scientific ideas. And so we lean on those to help us understand the world around us. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will talk about how, like, from the clouds we bring the rain down, and then it goes into the ground and the plants emerge, and then we harvest our food from it, and you eat from it, your animals eat from it. Oh, and also we created animals so that you could use them for food, use them for transportation, for labor, all of that stuff. So these are the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has provided as open access to everybody. These are the resources that he provided to us. And that explanation that he keeps providing regarding nature is to help us understand that there's a system in place and that someone designed that system. Who is that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is a way of building our logical side of the faith, right? We're recognizing things that I can see, touch, comprehend. It makes sense to me. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about all of that in the Quran. And then we lean on that to build the faith towards the blind faith. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells me in things that are unseen, like I can't see angels, but why do I believe they exist? Because Allah told me they exist, right? And so this is how we build our foundation of faith. And again, when it comes to believing, there's a difference between expressing belief and actually doing the actions that show that I'm a believer. So if I go to the doctor and I say, okay, give me a treatment, I have a disease, I need you to cure it. Doctor says, okay, if you take this pill, it will cure all of your problems. And I'm like, perfect, yeah, that's awesome, I'm so down for that. And then I just never take this pill. It means I'm not actually believing in the cure. I don't believe the doctor. Same thing in your faith. We can't customize the deen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in Surah Al-Baqarah, Bismillah, أَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِبَعْضِ الْكِتَابِ وَتَكْفُرُونَ بِبَعْضِ. Are you going to believe in parts of the book or parts of this religion and then deny the other ones? It doesn't work like that. You have to accept it fully. When I recognize that Allah is true and his words are true, then I accept the faith with no arguments, no hesitation. And so once you do that, then your actions will start to meet your beliefs. Otherwise, you've missed the point. Otherwise, you're not doing this faith, you're not following this faith the way we're supposed to. The idea is that we are human beings, Allah created us, and he catered this religion to us. So everything that is halal is good for you. Everything that is haram is bad for you. And so when we take that approach, it becomes much easier to follow the faith because we know Allah wants what's best for me. He is the best of planners. When I'm going through something, I know he's purposely putting me through this struggle for a reason. Nothing is by accident. Allah is free of any imperfections or flaws, so he doesn't make mistakes. So nothing that happens to you was a mistake. And then once we learn to apply that, that's when we start to really feel that connection. And then once you reach that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran that he guarantees that for the believer, he will remove your fear, he will remove your sadness. And he says in Surah Al-Baqarah, he says, فَمَنْ تَبِعَ هُدَايَ فَلَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. Meaning that whoever follows my guidance, they will not feel fear and they will not have sadness. Now, it doesn't mean that Allah is going to take away your trials. You're going to go through trials, but he's going to give you the strength and the patience and the peace that you need to be able to go through it and not be devastated by it, and to actually grow from it and be stronger by it. And so that's where that security comes through. So people will say, okay, like, how do I build this? The Quran is your personal manual. It was provided to you to tell you, this is how you worship me. This is what you should or shouldn't do. And then we have the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, who is basically a practical living example of how to apply these values that are expressed in the Quran in the real world. So how do I deal with myself, my neighbors, my spouses, my family, my friends, my society that I live in? How do I conduct myself? How do I dress? How do I take care of my hygiene? You know, how do I speak? How do I maintain respect when I deal with others? So this is the practical life application of the Quran. He is basically a walking Quran. That's kind of his miracles, that he is the embodiment of what the Quran expresses. And that's why we lean on both of those, the Quran and his sunnah, as our way of life. And so with people, when it comes to having really, really high faith, once you get to that point, you recognize that this dunya doesn't mean anything. It really becomes insignificant to you, not because you're morbid or you don't care about anything, but because you realize this isn't it. This isn't everything, and Allah has something really big and beautiful for me at the end of this journey. And so I actually went to San Diego last week, and I attended a workshop for how to wash the dead bodies, because I want to learn how to do that. And so I volunteered. They asked for a volunteer to be the body. And so I volunteered to be the body, and they laid me out on this table for like 30 minutes, and like they did the whole like pretending to wash me. And they were taking off like all of my jewelry, like everything I had on. And because they're like, yeah, when you bury somebody, like you have to make sure they don't have anything with them. It's just purely your body. And they're like brushing out your hair. And it's like this really surreal experience. And they like legit wrapped me up. And I'm going to show you, I actually brought pictures with me. So that's me in the kafan, right? I know, right? It looked like I'm so calm, right? And so it's funny because we didn't have enough of the kafan is like the white cloth that they use, so we had to improvise and use a tablecloth for the outside part. But basically, yeah, like they laid me out, they wrapped me up, and they like legit tied me, like they tied my head, and like, so I was in it. I wouldn't recommend it for a claustrophobic person, honestly, but it was a really cool experience. And it was weird because like I sat there, and as soon as they put the kafan over my face and they like just kept me there for a few seconds, it was just like quiet. And I'm just sitting and thinking to myself, and I was trying to pretend that it was real because I just wanted to give myself that perspective. And I was just thinking of like all the problems that I had, everything that was stressing me out in my life. And I'm like, this is it. Like nothing is coming with me. I don't get to take anyone with me. And this is what it comes down to. And I just felt like it was scary in a way, but it also felt really peaceful, where I'm like, nothing matters. Like literally nothing matters. And so this was such a humbling experience for me. And it also made me recognize the things I want to do before I die. I'm like, no, I have so much I want to work on, and so much that I want to do to get closer to Allah, to be a better version of myself. And at the same time, help me realize that I shouldn't take everything too seriously. Like the conflicts, the things that the fights we have with people, it doesn't matter, right? It really doesn't matter. And I think the best people that we can use as an example that really showcase this are the people of Gaza. We cannot fathom being in their place for 5 minutes. Like I can't be in a war zone like that, let alone for the last almost 2 years, let alone the 75 years before that. And what's amazing is you watch these people, they are literally going through absolute hell. Like if you can think of what is the worst way my life could go, that is the epitome. Like they have nothing else going on but pure chaos and destruction, and they have no way out. They're just stuck there being bombed and starved. It's unbelievable. But then you look at these people and they film themselves and they talk, and you'll see a guy who's like covered in blood and he lost all his family members, and he's like, Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar. And you're like, wow, like I am nowhere near that. May Allah inshallah make us, as faithful as these people. May Allah grant them Jannah and let them die shuhada inshallah. But it is so moving to see how much faith they have and how much this dunya has become so insignificant to them because their connection with Allah is just that strong. And I actually have a video I want to show. So this was filmed at the beginning of I hate calling it a conflict, the war crimes that were initiated in October. And so she's talking a little bit about like what her situation is with her family and how they are perceiving the experience. And I'm not going to give too much commentary because I want her to just speak for herself. It's so beautiful. So let's just play it real quick.
دايما لابسين ملابس الصلاة وجاهزين، متوقعين إنه ننقصف بأي لحظة، نجتمع كلنا بغرفة واحدة عشان لو متنا نموت مع بعض. بنقضي وقتنا وإحنا نقرأ قرآن وندعي رب العالمين إنه يفرجها علينا. إحنا النصر بالنسبة لنا مش احتمال، لأنه ربنا واعدنا بهذا الإشي. ويمكن هذا اللي بخلينا أقوياء، مش خايفين من الموت، لأنه الموت عندنا يعني استشهاد، والشهيد بالجنة بإذن الله. حتى الصهاينة اللي راكضين ورا الدنيا ومتاعها بيحبوا الحياة وبيخافوا من الموت، وهذا اللي مخليهم جبناء.
So this video, I just love it so much because I'm sure she is stressed. Like there's, you know, nobody wants this for themselves. Nobody wants this for their children. I'm sure that it is extremely disturbing. But the peace and the acceptance that you see in her eyes, you don't see it in people that have like millions of dollars and seemingly should have no real problems in their life. And yet somehow her faith, her conviction is so strong. She's just like, yeah, we're not afraid. And we're ready. And we know Allah's going to fulfill His promise to us one way or the other. Either we're going to die shuhada or we're going to see victory in our life. And it is just incredibly moving to see people that have reached this level of resilience like no other. And that is all from the experience of being close to as-salam, al-mu'min, having that peace and that faith and that connection. And so inshallah, we all aspire to reach that level of faith. And you know what they say about life? In general, they always say things like, yeah, no pain, no gain, or what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That is true. And that is exactly what's happening when we go through struggles and trials and we're patient and we ask Allah to help us. And, you know, it can be hard to cope, but when you truly understand the role that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is playing in your life and you realize everything is meant to happen, nothing is a mistake, everything happens for a reason, you can build that connection. And then when you're feeling down, like I'll say, I personally, when I'm going through something, I told you I'm a crybaby and I cannot control myself. I'm like, I just need to let it out. So sometimes when I just don't have anyone to talk to about it, I'll be in my car and I'll just be talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and I'm just bursting into tears. And I'm like, Ya Allah, I don't understand this. I don't know what's happening. I know this is your plan. I'm trying to accept it. Help me accept it. You know, we can't always be like these really, really solid, like nothing shakes me type of person, except for these people, honestly. And inshallah, maybe we get there one day. But it's okay to have that weakness. It's okay to say to Allah, like, I'm weak. I need you. I don't know where to go from here. I don't know what you need from me, but help me understand, Ya Allah, help me accept this and help me get out of this. And the beautiful thing is nothing lasts forever, neither happiness nor sadness. So everything we go through is khair, everything we go through is good for us. But alhamdulillah, so may Allah inshallah make us people who are of strong faith, of patience, who can accept our trials and find relief and comfort in our connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and find peace. All right, well, jazakallah khair for attending. I appreciate it. I'll see you next week, inshallah.